Good morning to the Sacred Roots podcast. Today is the 21st of March, and I'm sure you've noticed this is always a big date in the seasonal changes because we are moving to spring. It's the return of the light, it's the return of the sun. Spring is here, flowers are blooming, snow is melting, and summer is just around the corner. And of course, we love summer because that is synonym of going out, spending time with friends, warm weather, and enjoying quality time, really. Summer for me is really quality time. But this equinox is actually a super potent alchemical gateway. And I want to dive today in the wisdom and the mysteries of the equinox. And I'm going to share some things with you that you've probably never heard anywhere else. So stay tuned and gain all this wisdom because it might really ring true for you at a cellular level. Like you're going to listen to me and you're going to be like, yeah, I really resonate with that. I know that in my body. And so let's dive right in. Let's not talk too much so that we can really enjoy this potent gateway because it's happening right now in this present moment. If you're listening to me today on the 21st of March, it's happening right now. And it's going to keep happening for the next 2-3 days because the equinox is really an energetical portal and it's not just happening in 1 minute, it spreads on a few days. So let's talk about what the equinox is. I'm going to address as well the Celtical roots, the connection with goddess Ostara, and the alchemical and physiological magic and perspective on the equinox. So the spring equinox is not just a moment where we change season. The winter is now over. We are stepping into spring. But it's actually really the symbol of perfect balance because winter and fall are really these months where the darkness is greater than the light. And so the 21st of March is the return of the spring. It's the return of the light. And today, particularly, the masculine and feminine are in perfect balance. The day and the night are the exact same length. And your body knows that. Your body feels that as well. We're going to dive into really the physiological connection that our bodies have with the equinox at the end of this episode, so stay tuned. First, I want to approach it more from a spiritual perspective because this is a spiritual podcast. And so, as we are moving away from the feminine season, we just spent months in the darkness. Maybe you were a little bit lost and confused about your life. You didn't have a lot of clarity. It was a bit dark in your life, like you had mental darkness because you didn't have clarity. You didn't know where you were moving. And so this equinox is a promise of something new that is birthing, something new that wants to come through, something new that is going to happen or unfolding for you right now. And as you've spent those past months in the dark womb of your home and your heart, you are invited to come out and to birth this new you, this version of you that's been brewing, taken care of, and incubating. Now it's time for you to show up. How do you want to show up? How do you want to be seen? What is that new part of you that you're going to show the world? Because the equinox is really a time of fertility, rebirth, resurrection even. We know it with the story of Jesus, who died and then resurrected 3 days ago. And that is a little bit later, it's in April, but it's connected to the equinox. Because equinox is really a time of creation, changes, metamorphosis. And while the solstices really are times of celebration of what is unfolding, the equinox is really a new beginning. And if we look at the Celtic tradition and the wheel of the year, this time is called Ostara. And Ostara is an Old English name, Celtic name, that is connected to the goddess Eostre. Easter, of course, the word Easter comes from her. And Easter is the goddess of fertility, the return of the light. And Jesus represented the light. So his resurrection that is celebrated at Easter is completely connected to this ancient wisdom. That's where it comes from. And another funny thing is that at Easter, we often, you see it in the stores, you see the bunnies and the colored eggs. Where does that come from? That actually comes from the tale of Ostara, of Wester. I don't even know how to pronounce that name correctly in English. But so Esther, let's call her like that. She was a Celtic goddess, and she was the one bringing spring. And one year, she arrived a little bit later. And so she was feeling a bit later and she was rushing. And as she was rushing and running through the woods, she saw a bird on the floor. And the bird was slowly dying and his wings were frozen, stuck in the snow, because the snow was still there, the snow from the winter, because she's the one bringing the spring. And so she was filled with compassion and she thought, oh no, poor little bird. I'm going to take that bird. I'm going to take care of it. Maybe I'll save it. And so the bird stayed alive and she actually changed the bird into a hare, a rabbit, because the bird couldn't fly anymore and she felt really sorry for him. And so she wanted to change him into a rabbit, into a hare, so that he could run as fast as he could and not get chased by the hunters. And so the hare, to thank her, decided to lay eggs from all the colors of the rainbow. Now, this is a tale, but there's a lot of symbolism and wisdom in this tale, because hares are known for their rapid reproduction. Hare is really the symbol, the totem animal of lunar goddesses such as Hecate, Freya, Holda, and of course also Easter, because she was a goddess of fertility, new beginnings, rebirth. And those goddesses were very connected to the moon because the moon is also a symbol of fertility. So there's a very strong connection between the hare and the moon. They're both connected to fertility and goddess wisdom. And did you know that hares can actually conceive while they are pregnant? So there's no greater animal that can represent the fertility, the new beginnings, the possibilities. And so this tale is really inviting us to remember that now is a time of possibility. Now is a time of new beginning. Now is the time to bloom. You've planted a seed at Samhain, Halloween in the fall. And that seed's been growing, and really fertilizing with the dark soil of the earth. And now it's time to express all of that. It's time to birth. And so this is an image for your projects, but also for you. And when we really tap into the wisdom of the seasons and we align with them, and we align our energy and our intentions with them, it happens to us as well. Because your body is also experiencing that. Your body is very tapped into the season. Your body is nature itself. We have minds and we feel disconnected from our bodies because we have not been taught to really come in perfect union with the earth, with our bodies, with the seasons, the sun. But that's you. That's you as well. And so we are really learning now that this spring equinox is really a time for us to create, bring forth. It's also a time to create space so that the new can come through. We often use this expression, oh, it's the time for a little spring cleaning. Yes, absolutely. And so the spring cleaning idea is rooted in very ancient wisdom because our ancestors knew that they had to create space for something new to come through. If your life is already full, If your closet is full of clothes, you cannot bring new clothes, you cannot bring new ideas, you cannot birth new things if everything's already full in your life. So the spring cleanup, of course, happens on a physical level. What clothes are you going to let go of? What food are you going to empty from your kitchen that's been staying in the drawers for months? But it also happens at an emotional and spiritual level. What version of you are you letting go of? How are you coming back into the light? How are you resurrecting? And in solar mysteries, in alchemical mysteries, we teach and we learn about Yeshua and Osiris, who also went into the underworld, into the darkness, and they resurrected. So that happens to men, but also to women. There are a lot of myths that also tell that story of women going into the darkness. There's the tale of Inyana, who goes into the underworld for 3 days and 3 nights and then resurrects. She's brought back. There's also the tale of Persephone and Demeter, Orphe and Eurydice. A lot of ancient stories are telling us about these seasons, about this rebirth cycle, about the resurrection. And we are right now experiencing that rebirth. Right now, as you're listening to me, it's happening at an energetical, alchemical, spiritual level. Can you feel that energy of possibility that's moving through your body, through your life right now? Can you feel the expansion? I see it in my clients, and especially in the mystery school. In the mystery school, I take my girls through a 9-month initiation, and we work in alignment with the season. And it's so beautiful to watch that now with the spring, all of them, they have opportunities coming their way. They are having clarity. They are birthing a new version of them. And 2-3 months ago, when we were in the middle of the winter, I can tell you it was chaos for everyone. Because these teachings, they touch you at your core. You understand them intellectually, but also energetically. And especially when you work with me, I put so much intention, so much energy into my work. And the spirits that I work with, they touch you at an unconscious level. So you understand information at a conscious level, but there's very deep work that's done at an unconscious, energetical, alchemical, spiritual level. So it's so beautiful to see that these girls they're birthing new versions of themselves. An opportunity are coming their ways. They're becoming magnets for really aligned opportunities. So that's happening with the woman that I'm working with, but I know it's also happening in your life. And if you don't have support, if you don't have a container where you can feel guided in that death rebirth process, reach out, maybe sign up to the waitlist for the mystery school for next year, work with a coach, get guidance, because in each and every single of those tales, they came back thanks to someone else or with someone else. We're not meant to birth ourselves on our own. You get to be supported. We are beings of connection, of togetherness. We're here to serve and share our gifts with each other. We're here to thrive together. So if you really want to honor the springtime, I really invite you to go to your altar, make a small altar if you don't have one. This is a beautiful opportunity for you to then have a sacred space where you can connect with yourself, connect with your spirit guides, connect with your soul, receive guidance, ground yourself, have a space where you can go within, heal. It's so important. And so you can put eggs on your altar as a symbol of that fertility, of what you're birthing. Light a candle to symbolize the return of the light. Give the energy of that candle to your spirit guides. And then grab a journal, a pen, and you can really sit with the next questions to really tune into those energies that are currently everywhere in the Northern Hemisphere. What do I desire to create in the next 6 months? because the cycles actually begin with the equinoxes, not with the solstices or not the 1st of January. They actually begin with the equinox. What are you desiring to create for the next 6 months? What is this new version of you that is coming through? Maybe you're sensing her, maybe you're feeling her, maybe it's not completely clear, and you can allow yourself to sit a little bit longer in that darkness as you're transitioning until Easter is here, until the true rebirth, resurrection. What are you no longer tolerating? Because your life is very much a reflection of what you're tolerating, what you're accepting. So, what are you no longer tolerating about yourself, about others, about your business, about people you work with? What are you definitely letting go of? So, here with these two questions, we're really creating space for the new to come through. And then the last question is, where are you going to focus your energy on? Because with this masculine, this light season, this light time that is coming back, it's an invitation to create and to use your energy wisely. In our crazy society, we often say, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I didn't get the time to do this thing. It's not a problem of time, you guys. It's a problem of energy. Where are you focusing your energy? Where are you distracting yourself? Why are you doing things that don't nourish and replenish you? And how can you use your energy when you're tapped in? When you feel connected to universal consciousness and you can allow that consciousness to guide you? Because then you have access to limitlessness. Then there's no amount of energy and time that you lack in that state. So where are you going to focus your energy, and how are you going to use your energy to birth what's been coming through? So this past year, I've been studying biomancy with Dr. Azra Bertrand. If you don't know her, I really invite, if you don't know him, sorry, it's a man, very wise man. If you don't know him, I really invite you to check him out. I'm going to invite him actually on this podcast. He should be coming in the next weeks. Because he's a mystic, a scientist, a spiritual teacher. He's very connected to the earth, the moon, the sun, and he's an alchemist. And so I've been learning a lot from him. And he created this new field called biomancy, where we really tap into the magic of our bodies, the magic of life, the magic of nature. And we open ourselves to be oracles for life. In other ways, we open ourselves to be vessels. That's how I would phrase it, and I've definitely phrased it like that here on this podcast. You are a vessel, and you're here to allow your most magical and enlightened life to unfold for you, through you, but also for the highest good of others. And so he teaches that as well, but in a very earth wisdom grounded way. And he's also very tapped into the seasons. And he teaches us that this equinox is an alchemical gateway. It's really a portal that is going to impact your physical well-being for the next 6 months. It's a portal that can really enhance your health, your awakening, your emotional, physical, mental, spiritual healing. And it can really deeply reprogram you. Why? Because today and in the next days, the feminine and the masculine are in perfect balance. The day and the night are the same length. And your body knows that. You have a circadian rhythm that's connected to the light. Your pineal gland sees the amount of light that there is outside and that there isn't. And when it's dark, it's time to sleep. Your pineal gland then releases melatonin so that you sleep, so that you have visions, so that you become more sensitive to the invisible, because all your senses, because you can't see, potentially you're not eating, you don't touch as many things, there's less noise, so your physical senses are diminished, which leaves room for your higher senses. And that happens every single night. It happens every single day as we go through these cycles, but there are greater cycles happening through the year as well. And now is a very potent portal for you to actually work on your health and your physical well-being. Because right now, your body is actually shifting into, oh, there's going to be more light. So I'm going to take in all the light of the sun during spring and summer so that I can store it for the winter. And it's not just light, there are like light codes and activations that are coming from the sun. And we need that light for our hormones, for our immunity, for the creation of vitamin D, which actually now has been recognized to be a hormone, not just a vitamin. It influences your thyroid. It influences so many things in your body. And our ancestors knew that. They were very aware of that. They actually built temples and mounds to honor that. And there's one particular mound in Ireland that's called the Cairn T, or the Cairn of Cailleach. And that mound is perfectly aligned to the spring equinox. Because at the equinox and the equinox only, and the 3 days around the equinox, the sun enters that mound, and that mound, it's man-made. It's like a pregnant belly. It's like a ball, half a ball, I would say. And the sun enters a door into the pregnant belly of the earth. How beautiful is that? The masculine energy of the sun fertilizes the belly of the earth, the feminine. Our ancestors were completely aware that this equinox, the spring equinox, is a powerful gateway for creation, for healing, for rebirth, and that physically we were also impacted by that. And so a ritual for you to connect with those energy and increase your well-being and your health and your radiance and your awakening in the next months is to actually watch the sunset and the sunrise. If you can. If you live in a city, maybe this weekend or in the next days, find a way to connect with the sun. Even if there are clouds, you're receiving those energies from the sun. And allow those energies to penetrate you in your third eye, in your heart, in your womb, and in your root chakra. Breathe the sun in through your chakras. And so you can really take a big inhale through your third eye and see that energy nourish your third eye and then spread everywhere in your auric field and in your body. And then do the same with your heart, with your womb, and with your root. And you are going to be amazed at how much more receptive your body is to that light, how much more alive you're going to feel, how much more tapped in and creative you're going to feel, because you are being fertilized by the energy of the sun. That's what this portal is all about. Let the sun, the divine, universal consciousness fertilize you with what needs to come through at a physical, spiritual, material, emotional level, all of it. I hope this episode resonated with you and that you are going to take time to connect with the sun at sunset or sunrise, because that's where the sun is most potent and can best penetrate you. And take time to do the journaling questions. Take time to sit with yourself in silence and open yourself for visions of what wants to come through in the next 6 months. And of course, if you've loved this episode, please share it on social media so that more women, more men can enjoy this wisdom, can bring this ancient wisdom in their life, and also allow themselves to thrive physically, spiritually, emotionally in the next months. We really need that right now. We need all of us to come together and to do this inner, earthly, spiritual work so that we can really connect with our soul's purpose and embody your highest selves, because that's really the end goal of all of this. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I love you. Take very good care of yourself. Be really compassionate with yourself. If you can't do all of these rituals and practices, that's all right. I know this is an intense time we are living in. I know the March energies are still quite chaotic. April should be better as we are birthing the new, and it's time to move forward, and we're going to be supported to create, to be magnetic, to receive opportunities. So open yourself to all of that. And if you want to do this really deep work with me, sign up to the Mystery School. The waitlist is currently on my website. I'm going to put the link in the show notes of my episode. And there will be a small opportunity to join in May or June, I don't know yet, but in the next months, and to then pay a little bit less. Or, of course, we are starting in September because we are working with the seasons. Of course we are. I love you. Thank you so much for inviting me in your private space, taking time for yourself and for me to share my wisdom with you. Take very good care of yourself. I know I already said it, but it's important. And I'll see you next week.